What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in. Voice of the Fans podcast. Give yourself a round of applause for being here tonight. This is week 275 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. That's week 275, Cleveland, if you didn't get it right. January 17th, 2024. We, again, thank you guys for being a part of the show. Each and every week, man, we talk about a lot of different stuff. I'm going to introduce a new topic to the show tonight, Cleveland. And then we're going to actually revisit the topic. Yeah, everybody, there's been a lot of fanfare about the topic. I got it wrong. A lot of people love that love that segment, Cleveland. We have to revisit that segment tonight. We're going to revisit that segment tonight. We're going to talk about the Wildcard Weekend in NFL, obviously. We're going to talk about the NBA update. I don't know if you noticed Bucks just got waxed by 40 tonight. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have a boxing conversation. In the NBA conversation, we're going to have to talk about the new Intuit Dome, Mr. Cleveland. Have to get your feedback on the new Intuit Dome by your boy Steve Ballmer, built by your boy Steve Ballmer in Inglewood, California. We'll talk about the things that's going to be happening there here in the near future. We're going to talk about boxing. We're going to remit to your fans who's been a friend of the show. We're going to revisit our guy Champside's pound for pound list, and then get Cleveland's feedback on this, because we did have some boxing over the weekend, so we're going to revisit this pound for pound list. And then we got this week in history, as always. So let's get the show started before I go on my little tangent tonight, Cleveland. Let's get the show started just as we do each and every week. Let's get the show started like this here.
Am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is Cameron.
Cam Buford. Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford right here.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy. I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment.
I'm standing there to try to make a change. Get back to the youth, get back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter. The fighter works for the promoter.
Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with him?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
On your team, his ball number is that number 2 in boxing, or your number 3 option? On your team's team.
30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights.
Can I finish right now? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about this upcoming?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
Well, every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to evolve.
You were adding some spice to it.
It is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Real ones know what's going on.
Like 7 Northwest, so I think it's a big part of my game, and every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy
Cam, nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
Look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do knowing
real
that.
surprised at that, Cam.
Hey, give here. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's Big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sports. Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do.
You heard my guy, Big Snoop Dogg. That's Big Snoop Dogg right there. You heard my guy. You better cut it out, man. Talking about hating on Snoop Dogg. The fans, everybody's been through this before. We're gonna get to a lot of things I talked about. We're gonna talk about the NBA. We're gonna talk about the NFL, Bill Belichick, his future, where he's going. We're gonna get into some boxing. But the road trip, Cleveland. What is your road trip prep? How do you prepare for a road trip, man? Because I took a little drive up this weekend from Birmingham to Memphis, Tennessee. Interesting road trip. So obviously you got to fill up, right? You gotta fill up the gas tank, right? But I particularly like it used to involve rolling something up, but we passed on that, right? But I like to use some oil enhancements. I get the mystery oil, put some mystery oil in my oil tank, get the gas cleaner to put in your gas while you're driving. Since we're driving a whole lot of miles, they say use that stuff. Like Lucas you put it in the gas tank. You say you driving a bunch of miles, use that stuff and then run it out. So I like to get that in. Is there anything that you prefer?
No, not so much, Cam. I'm really all about making sure that the cuts are right for the journey.
Okay.
That the snacks are right for the journey and the drinks are right for the journey.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Podcasts. I mean, nowadays you don't have to. Yeah, you used to arrange your cut, you arrange the CDs, right? Make sure the CD changer had all the right CDs in it, so you didn't have to change them in a midstream or whatever. But now we got Series XM, we got the iPhone, we can change it in. Really, my go-to, I have to listen to a couple podcasts. I figure a road trip, I can put on a couple podcasts and get to where I'm going. Memphis is funny because what's funny to me is living in Los Angeles so long, where a trip like going to Vegas. So I got about a 4-hour limit, to be honest with you guys. My hour is about 4. If the road trip is longer than 4 hours, I'm looking for an airplane ticket. Like that, even though San Francisco is 4.5, 5, 15 maybe from Los Angeles, I made that drive twice. It gets kind of long and boring. On the other hand, when I lived on the East Coast, that drive from Hampton, Virginia to New York City, it's a legit 6-hour drive. But because that drive, you're driving through cities, it doesn't seem like 6 hours. Because you're driving in 3 hours, okay, you're going to be in DC. In 3.5 hours, you're in Baltimore. In 4 hours, you're going to be 4.5 hours, you're going to be in Philadelphia. And in Philadelphia, New Jersey, you're essentially there. You're just kind of dealing with people and traffic, right? You're essentially, that's a late commute, a long commute somewhere, right? So, but that drive, I've done that dozens of times. That drive does not seem like a 6-hour drive. On the other hand, you drive from LA to San Francisco, which is, if you're flying like I used to fly, that would be a 5 to 5.5 hour drive. By the time you get to San Fran, like I'm beat, because that's a long, boring drive. I feel like on the East Coast, your senses are, what's the word for it? Your senses are I'm having a brain fart on the word for it. But it doesn't feel like you're alone in the wilderness. When I am leaving from Birmingham to Memphis, it's a good solid 3.5 hour drive. However, for 3 of those hours, the road is completely wide open. the drive is, there might be you and a couple truckers, a couple hunters on the road, and that's it. And that's it. In LA, you're dealing with the families making their commute from Southern California, Northern California, the aunt coming up there for the first time, the college kids, the truckers. You're dealing with all kind of people, right? In it, LA to Vegas is which I probably made the most time. It's a solid. I got it down to 3-hour drive, but that's like to a night. That's like doing 90. The trick there is leave first thing in the morning. Leave first thing in the morning, and you beat that LA traffic. You beat the traffic just getting out of LA. It's an hour traffic if you leave 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. You're going to spend an hour just getting out of the city. So you want to leave early, beat that traffic, and then the rest of the way is just really gravy. You don't hit traffic until you get to Vegas. And that's what it felt. That's what this road trip to Memphis was like. Is like, man, I tell you, I did 95. And something cool about I did not know that this happened. This is my second time driving up there. I did not know Google Maps will give you the alert that there's a speed trap. I didn't know that. I've used Google Maps before, not all the time. I guess LA to Vegas, you don't need it there. I know where I'm going. I did not know they give you the speed. They give you a speed trap. Speed trap ahead. Speed trap ahead. Okay, I'll ease up and go 80. Ease up to 80. Fly right on by the cops. As soon as they're out of my sight, I was going 95, bro. From Birmingham. For 2 hours and 45 minutes, I did 95 miles per hour. And trusty iPhone and Google Maps warn me every time. Mississippi, they're really trying to catch you. There are like 5 speed traps in Mississippi because you have to go Alabama, Mississippi to get to Memphis, or at least the way I did. So they were very thank you, Google. Thank you, Google, for good looking out, because they protected me. And there was actually, every time it came on, there was actually, coming around the bend another 5 miles, there was actually cops sitting on the side of the road. Hey, how you guys doing? Hope you guys enjoyed yourself, because
I heard you guys were gonna be here. Yeah.
I heard about you guys. Yeah, it was awesome. But coming back, Cleveland, then this is shame on me. Like I said, I like to make sure my car is right. So last week I went and I don't do this every time, but last week I went and did a tire rotation just to make sure, extend the life of my tires. And again, like I said, I used the fuel additives just to clean up the fuel, since I'm driving. It was 250 miles. I think it was. Cleveland coming back. Stopped at the gas station again. Took the mystery oil, the big red bottle. Took the mystery oil, stick some in my fuel. I got an oil change last week too. Oil change. I don't know if you got an oil change at Walmart. It's $30. I don't know. That's unheard of. That was unheard of. $30 oil change at Walmart. Ding, ding, ding.
I'd be concerned for a $30 oil change. Yeah.
No. I mean, they flush it. All they doing is draining your oil and putting more oil in there. And
but they always say that, and sometimes they don't.
I confirmed it. I make sure I check my oil because I know what it was and I know what it is when I come out of there. And I was like, I had to go tell them because they didn't change my the thing said still like it said what 40% oil, so they didn't reset my oil. I was like, my thing's telling me you guys is still at 48% oil in here. What's the deal? So right then, boom. He watched me check the oil. I was like, okay, it's in there. Well, why didn't it reset? He said, well, I didn't reset it. Okay, we'll reset my shit. Make sure it's right. So yeah, but order oil change $30. So again, I wouldn't do the oil change. Boom. Cleveland coming back. God, I don't know how I got behind this lady, because there's not many cars on the road. So she's putting along in this fast lane. There was a semi in the right lane, so she's riding right along the side of the semi who's going 55 miles per hour. So I'm giving her the headlights, move over. And I don't know what was spitting out of her car. I have no idea, but it's all over my windshield, and my windshield wiper fluid. This is something I slip on. We're gonna get to sports, man. I just wanted to get this off my chest. The windshield wiper fluid. When I hit the button, my windshield wiper is white, but I don't get any fluid.
Well, see, that's what they're supposed to do when you do the oil change, Cam.
No,
that's what I'm talking about.
No. I don't expect them to do that when they do the oil change.
No, they're supposed to.
That's my fault.
All the fluids.
Well, if you paying for the $100 oil change, maybe I should expect that. You're right. You get what you pay for. I pay for an oil change. I didn't expect for them to go inspect my car. So that's shame on me. Because again, I didn't even. That's not even their fault. So whatever it was, it looked like the oil leak or whatever, smearing all over my windshield, and I have to pull over because I could barely see. I have to go, the next fuel station. Gotta pull over and wipe off the windshield so I can see. I was just thinking as I'm driving down the road, barely could see. I'm kind of ashamed of myself. Actually, I'm really kind of ashamed of myself that I have to waste time to pull over to get my windshield to wipe my windshields when I got the button just to push the button on your blinker. My windshields are wiping, but I'm not getting any windshield wiper fluid, so I got to get that fixed. So I just wanted to talk about this road trip I had and that experience. Check your windshield wiper fluids, make sure it's proper before you go on a road trip, so you don't get stuck, fans. Because I was stuck, and now I've been dealing with this damn ice storm that's happening here in Alabama. This is a whole nother story. I can't tell you guys about that one. Cleveland, nonetheless, got home safely Saturday night. I watched on the way home. I was able to pull out the iPad and watch CJ do his thing. First quarter of CJ really, I didn't miss anything. I wouldn't have missed anything if I didn't turn it on. Because CJ went up 21-0 on the Browns. The Browns couldn't do anything right. CJ is just dropping back, hitting any receiver that's on the sideline. CJ dropped the ball in his pocket. Going down the field, the tight end, he hit the tight end. I love one thing I love about Joe Burrow. Joe Montana was great at this too. Is they put the ball in a position where you can catch and run. You can catch the ball and run. You don't have to go. Sometimes they say in the game, throw it low where only the receiver can catch it, and then you throw it low, and the receiver has to catch it, but then he's down because he has to roll to the ground, and then he gets touched. So it might be a 7, 8, 10-yard catch, 10-yard play, whatever it is. CJ put the ball on a tight end, Jordan's hands. Jordan catches it, running to the sideline. He's able to stop, right? Shakes the defender, cuts back inside, and then just takes off. There's nobody around. Perfect play design. Nobody around to catch him. Nobody around to slow him down. He sprints 70 yards for the touchdown. But it was all because of the ball placement. You know what I'm talking about? You feel what I'm saying? It was the ball placement. The touchdown to the tight end. I don't remember the tight end number 86, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, Dalton Schultz. Yeah, and then you probably don't remember the one that he put right on his hands and he dropped it. That was before that. That was before that. Yes, that was before that one. And then the next time he got it for a touchdown. But
yeah. You're absolutely right. But it was a simple fake the pitch, drop back, and great play design. But he threw it 40, 45 yards and put it right on his numbers as he's running away from the defender. Like, Cleveland, you told me. I was questioning him. We were texting during Ohio State in the playoff game last year. I remember this vividly. See, I heard all the CJ hoopla going into the playoffs last season. He had a chance to win that game, and he didn't execute on the final drive. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. I don't need to see any more of this guy. He didn't execute on the drive to win the game. He didn't execute. And he was like, nah, Cam, he can make every throw. He's good. I was like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he looks. And my goodness, if this kid, man, isn't just taking the NFL by storm right now, Cleveland. Before we talk any more about that, man, with it being January 17th, again, 2024, this is week 75 of the Voice of the Fans podcast, Cleveland. When you think of the number 17, Who wore that number the best? Or who come to your mind first?
You know, Cam, who comes to mind first is probably a quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks that played in the 80s, a cat named Dave Craig. Certainly remember him going down to Miami and giving them fits. Pulling that game out.
Oh my goodness!
Now, who wore it the best? Man, I'm gonna have to say that dude that just cashed in a $500 million contract. Cat named Shohei Ohtani.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. I think that contract was more than $500 million though. he put some money. He gave the Dodgers a break and said, hey, let's defer some of this right here. I don't want to pay all this taxes right now.
$500 million, but yeah, it's still $500 million.
Yeah, good call. Good call. So yeah, he's better than Peter Nedved or Havlicek. So yeah, good call right there. When you think of the number 75, Cleveland, who come to my first? Who wore that number the best?
You know, probably who comes to mind first is Howie Long, just because I kind of grew up with him and he's been on TV for so long. Who wore it the best? I'm gonna have to go with Mean Joe Green though.
Okay, once again, fans, this guy claims to be a University of Washington product, and you only mentioned Lincoln Kennedy.
Link was great.
What better lineman was there at the University of Washington than Lincoln Kennedy?
Never has been one. Been Link at left tackle.
Mean Joe Green, obviously, he had the commercial. The commercial with the kid where he threw the kid the jersey at the end of the game. Classic commercial. But he wasn't better than Deacon Jones. He was not better than Deacon Jones. Deacon Jones, Cleveland. My mentality for playing football came straight from Deacon Jones.
Deacon are cut from the same cloth.
It came straight from Deacon Jones. The head slap.
I will tell anybody that will listen. The one rule that I want them to re-implement back into the NFL is the head slap.
Man,
goodness.
If I didn't see that, guys, you guys won't remember, but there used to be hype videos, man. These guys had hype videos telling their story, and Deacon said, "Yeah, get the quarterback and take him down hard. We're trying to hurt the dude." And the head slap, I'm trying to disorient the man in front of me so I can get to the quarterback as fast as I can. If I wasn't head slapping kids back in the 80s, if I wasn't that head slap in the ear hole, oh my goodness. That was a woo. Every time I'm coming off that defensive line, I'm head slapping that guy. You better be ready. Because that, and again, at 8, 9, 10, they're not ready for that. They weren't ready for the Deacon Jones head slap. But if I had perfected that within 2 years, I perfected the head slap coming off that defensive end. And yeah, buddy. You guys didn't see the video. I watched that like 12 times last night. Man, Deacon Jones was my guy. Deacon Jones, anything he said, just you got to pull up a Deacon Jones clip. That was my mentality on a football field, period. End of story, right there. Deacon Jones, and then we're going to get to another guy who I start watching shortly after Deacon, but I didn't watch Deacon Jones live. I only got to watch highlights and hear interviews of Deacon Jones. I got to watch this other guy live. Yeah, this other terror. We're going to get to him too. So you guys just hold your horses, but we're going to get to him. But yeah, that's number 75 who come to my mind first, and who I think wore that number the best. But yeah, the most impressive win obviously goes to the Texans beating the Browns. I mean, that might have not have been the most impressive, but that was definitely the most surprising win, because I didn't expect that. I didn't expect them to put it on them quite like they did. Like your boy looks exquisite out there, like making every throw, not making mistakes, confident, dancing on the sidelines. His teammates helping him out, but he put in the right position for them, helping him out. Singletary, don't think they got enough. I don't think they give the ball to Singletary enough. But I mean, I guess I'd just be passing back there and throwing the slinging the ball all over the field too if I had CJ Stroud who could make every single throw. So I mean, I can't be mad at that. But yeah, that was again, I don't think it was most impressive win. I think that was most surprising. The Packers routing the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh boy. Oh boy. Now, Cleveland, you tell me. Did you guys Micah show up? Podcast Parsons, did he show up to that game?
You know, Cam, he did, but just was not effective. I mean, he certainly was on the field. He certainly was giving it a lot of effort. And him and Lawrence were certainly getting close to quarterback.
Close after Love threw the ball. After Love threw the ball, then they showed up in screen.
They were always like shoving him like right after he threw the ball, like half second. It was a half second late. And Jordan can throw off off his back foot, off a no feet.
Jordan jump up and throw it. He spent his 3 years sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, learning how to perfect the jump pass, the off schedule pass.
Yeah,
man. So let's just go right there. CJ Stroud had me start the segment, had me open up a new segment in the show. I got it wrong because I didn't expect none of this from CJ. And this was midway through the season, fans. This is midway through the season. I had to break down and admit where I was wrong, not saying CJ wasn't going to be that guy. And at the same time, I had Packers in the playoffs at the start of the season, and I had them. I had the Detroit Lions winning that division, but I had the Packers being right there because I expect from what I saw from Jordan Love late in the season last year and early in preseason this year, it looked like he was ready. It looked like Jordan Love was ready to lead these Packers somewhere. Now, he got there in the final week of the year. He got there, but I had to say, Jordan Love, I was wrong about you, big guy, 8 weeks through the season, because he didn't look early in the season. He didn't look like he was ready. He wasn't making his throws. He wasn't. They had some losses, some close losses that they should have won. They should have won, but he needed to get, he needed to get that engine going. And that car needed to get warmed up. He needed to get warmed up for that long journey in the NFL. What the NFL season is. The second half of the season, the kid had 18, not including the playoff game. He had 18 touchdowns, I think, in the last 8 games. 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. He looked ready. On their run to the playoffs, run to the NFL playoffs, he looked like the quarterback that I expected him to be at the beginning of the season. And if he played like that most of the season, they might have won that division. And against the Cowboys, like, not only were the Cowboys, I mean, Dak didn't help them. They scored a touchdown. They scored 2 touchdowns, right? And then Dak came back and threw a pick six, and then another interception that they capitalized on. And then it could have been a third interception if the guy caught the ball in the end zone, right? Right before halftime. If he catches the ball, if the linebacker catches the ball at the goal line, that's an interception number 3. And the route was on from there, although the Cowboys scored, but they were really a threat in the game. Was that more good Packers or bad Cowboys? What do you say in that game?
Man, bad Cowboys. I mean, I as much as I give kudos to the Packers for pulling that off, excuse me, and I did pick them to win the game. The defense was absolutely atrocious for the Cowboys. And I don't know how it's going to affect the coaching candidacy opportunities.
Yeah, we're gonna get to, I'm glad you brought that up. We will discuss that too.
Yeah, because those guys were wide open. I mean, those guys were stopping, waiting for the ball to get to them and catching it. That just is not happening in the NFL. You can't just wait for the ball to get to you. I mean, what is that?
Run your route and then stop and wait. Yeah.
Oh, Yeah, that's a complete breakdown.
Can we end all the conversation, man? Can we end all this conversation, all this comparisons? Ask Cleveland now. Please tell the fans, this isn't revisionist history. I said from week 1, this dude does not look like Lawrence Taylor. He's not ferocious. He's not unstoppable. He can be blocked. He doesn't have the passion. He not only did he not have the history, he doesn't have the passion. He doesn't have the motor, the hunger, the anger that Lawrence Taylor played with Cleveland. Will you tell the fans I mentioned that from week 1? Oh, why are you hating on Parsons? Why are you hating on this and that? Sure, he talks a lot. Sure, he talks better than Lawrence Taylor did when at that stage in his career. Oh, I'll give him that. That's about the only thing he does better. He has a little podcast. He wants to talk about people hating on him. Why doesn't Dak get the love that they give to other players? Why doesn't the Cowboys get respected like the people respect the other players? Dude, because you guys ain't did shit. That's why. Because you hadn't done anything. You get all this love and praise heaped on you. Mike Wilbon, I can't wait to see Michael Wilbon again. I told you guys weeks ago, he's the next coming of Lawrence Taylor. No, he's not. There's no resemblance of Lawrence Taylor and Micah Parsons. Can we stop with this nonsense? Cleveland, will you stop bringing that up, please?
Well, Cam, from the onset, you were not a believer. You certainly made it a point to accentuate.
He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's
the
a good
negative
player.
aspects of his game and why the comparison was ludicrous, and you weren't having it, hearing it, didn't want any part of that conversation. And as we get a little bit later in the season in 2023, 2024, it certainly comes to fruition. He looked nothing the part. He looked nothing like what they were saying. The first 2-3 games, he looked like an absolute monster, like just could not be stopped. And then, a few more games into the season, he just regressed and never quite got back to that, dominant player that he was. And when it really, really counted, I mean, he was, like I said earlier, he was close to getting to the quarterback, but never quite got to him and was not a disruptive force. And I can't say that he really impacted the game, on the Cowboys' favor at any point in the game, really.
And there's not a playoff game that you can pull up on tape where number 56 for the New York Giants did not impact the football game. There's not one tape. There's not one time you can pull it up. From 82 to 90, it impacted the game in every stretch of the way. So that was just absolutely blasphemous from anybody who thought that, anybody who said that. Micah Parsons there's no comparison to Parsons. Someone asked earlier in the season, Warner Parsons. Ooh, yeah. Again. I mean, again, that's true.
I'll stick with that. Yeah. I mean, talent-wise, he's got all the talent in the world. And, he shows flashes of absolute dominance. And then sometimes he just, goes into a shell and is not heard from. So, yeah.
So we're gonna get you spoke about it a minute ago. DQ, what this does for DQ's coaching candidacy, and I'm gonna have to give him some of the blame because there was plays where they had him dropping back. Like, I'm with moving him around the field, having play left end, right end, the center, attack, rush from the center, but no reason to have him drop back. Like, this was my complaint with Staley and what I was saying earlier in the season, where Staley was using Derwin James because Derwin James could play all 11 positions on the field. Doesn't mean he probably should play all 11 positions on the field. Because Micah Parsons can play middle linebacker and drop back, doesn't mean you don't have a better pass rusher on your team than Micah Parsons. So let him rush the passer. Period. Stop playing and stop getting cute and moving. Again, I like moving them around and find a better matchup, but do not why are you dropping them back? Like, you don't have a better guy to put in his spot. And that's what I was saying about Brandon Staley and using Derwin James. because they had him playing all these different positions. Because he can doesn't mean you should. Let him play safety. Let him clean up any missed tackles. Let Derwin James be there to be the eraser. Clear all that out. Any safety coming over the middle, let Derwin James take care of that. But he doesn't need to play nickel and rush the passer sometimes. No, cut it out. Let him play that safety, that strong safety position. When the tight end's over there, let him cover that tight end. Outside of that, your safety. Any mistake my linebackers miss a tackle, you're there to clean it up. My cornerbacks miss a tackle, you're there to clean it up. That's what Derwin James' job should be. Period. Staley had him playing nose guard, had him playing linebacker, that's too much. He's Harold Minor vibe. Ooh, wow. Ooh. Yeah, stop with the LT comparisons. I don't want to hear it again from anybody. Any commentator you got here on TV, you got change the channel. Anybody says that he LT and Michael Parsons, change the channel right then. They tell you that guy is BSing you right there. Don't even listen to it. The Buccaneers, man, the Buccaneers and Baker going to town on the Eagles. So I was on Twitter. I was follow a couple players that I used to report on playing for the Chargers, and the comment was, "Yeah, exactly. Yeah, again, again, yeah. See, stuff like that, you just need to ignore it. You need to ignore it when he says stuff like that." Just ignore it. Again, I didn't even turn on the podcast to hear that crap. And I just know he's way out there. Dude, you can't even rush the passer effectively. Okay, you're not even great at that. Get great at that first before you try to move to the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I did see some high school tape where he played fullback. He was pretty bruising. He was a bruising fullback. I did see that. But quarterback, come on, Micah. Settle down. Settle down. Settle down. But apparently with the Eagles locker room had warned Sirianni not to bring on the pencil as their defensive coordinator. And they brought him on anyway. And since then, they were 10-1. And then what did they finish the season?
About 6 of the last 7 games.
And that might not have been anything the pencil did directly. Matt Patricia was talking about. But once the coach or ownership, now it's undetermined who's running the ship over there, went against what the players wanted, like it was a mutiny. It was a mutiny. Nobody was said, okay, you guys want to do your own thing. Well, we're not here for long. The NFL is not for long with that type of mentality. So we saw the Eagles just bite their own self in the butt. And Baker Mayfield, I mean, some of those plays though, man, some of those plays where the receivers running wide open, like they showed no heart. It was like they didn't want to be there. It was, I mean, I want to say at least the Dolphins put up a fight, but there was some buffoonery going on there too. But the Eagles were in Tampa Bay. It wasn't like they went to Kansas City and it was cold and they just it was their fingers were frozen. It wasn't like that wasn't the issue in Tampa. They're out there in t-shirts. It's like that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing for those players. The Eagles, as you mentioned last week, you went to see this season. The Eagles defense, they brought on the Georgia Bulldogs, and they appear to be Georgia puppies because they weren't ready for the prime time. Whether that's coaching or whatever that was, I mean, they got some changes to make. They got some changes will be made in Philly, and we'll see. We'll talk about their coaching. Does he live? Does he survive? We'll talk about that in a minute. So the worst loss is the Eagles. I don't like to do the worst loss of the same as the most impressive win. But I mean, the worst loss was the Eagles. Cowboys getting ran by the Packers was not a good look either. And the Dolphins lose to the Chiefs, Cleveland. We got to talk about this.
Okay.
You heard my man, Mr. Red Zone, say this is a big season for Tua Tagovailoa to show that he's a franchise quarterback. Cleveland playoff game. I'm just gonna go back to I'm big Cleveland. You like rings and things. If you don't have no rings, you really don't want to hear about their caliber, their pedigree, right? I'm more in big time moments when every moment isn't derived from a championship game. There's a moment when you're playing the Tennessee Titans late in the season, you're on the road, and you have a chance to put your division away against the Tennessee Titans on a Monday night game. I think it was late November. When you mess around and let the rookie quarterback, we're not even going to talk about the injuries how the Dolphins decimated by injuries. Both of their best pass rushers went down. Xavier Howard went down. I don't think Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey played a game together this season. And all the talk was about coming into the season is we got 2 lockdown corners that is going to make it real tough for offenses to move the ball. We have 2 lockdown corners, Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, and then we got a growing Jalen Phillips, a pass rusher, and my other guy, number 2, Chubbs. I think Chubbs got a Super Bowl ring, doesn't he? Doesn't Chubbs got a Super Bowl ring? Well, he didn't win one with the Broncos. He wasn't along. He wasn't on the other side of your boy who's number 30.
No, I don't think so.
He wasn't there.
I don't think so.
Okay. But we got 2 legit pass rushers combined with our 2 lockdown corners. Again, our corners never saw the field together all season. I'm not sure. I don't think they did. If they did, it was 1 or 2 games. I don't really think they did all season. Then our 2 legit pass rushers go down. All right, 1 week after the next. So our defense is kind of in shambles. That's not an excuse. But our offense, you got what Tua was on a pace. He ended up passing for the most yards this season. He in the NFL, so he obviously doing some good things. Tyreek was on a pace to get 2,000 yards receiving. Ended up with 1799. But you can't lose. You can't fart around and piss off a game against Tennessee Titans, who not even a playoff team. You have a chance to win that game. Okay, you fart around in the whole game, and it comes down to your final drive in the fourth quarter. What are you going to do? Incomplete pass, fumble, and then incomplete pass on 4th down. He fumbled the ball. Tua did fumble the ball. So now instead of it being 4th and 10, it's like 4th and 17. And we know he's not going to complete this pass. And sure enough, he doesn't complete the pass. They lose the game against the Tennessee Titans. Some will say that's a meaningless game. A meaningless game at the end of November. That game end up costing you a division. Because now you come back, you get blown out by Baltimore. Then you lose to you beat Dallas. You get blown out by Baltimore. You lose to the Bills with the chance with the playoffs on the line. You lose to Buffalo. Last week I wasn't mad at that loss. I told you guys I didn't want to see Buffalo 2 weeks in a row. That would have been ugly. You weren't going to beat Buffalo 2 times. You just weren't going to beat them 2 times. A division rival, that'd mean you just weren't going to beat them, who blew you out earlier in the season. Okay. You weren't going to beat them in back-to-back weeks. The 1 week being to win the division, the second week being you had them at home, and the second week you weren't going to beat them in the playoffs. I knew that was going to happen. So I was kind of okay with the loss last week. But that loss, that game, if they beat Tennessee Titans and don't fuck off that game, that loss to Buffalo at the end of the season, it doesn't mean that's a meaningless game. Then they can rest their players. Tua in these games, in these moments, Cleveland did not show up. Did not show up. And that's why he's a front runner. The Dolphins proved a lot that they're front runners. In this game on Sunday, sure, it was a challenging game. The weather was against us. Cold weather team. I'm complaining about leaving Southern California where it's 60 degrees. Their winter is 60 degrees. I'm moving here to Birmingham, Alabama, where it was 12 degrees yesterday. I'm walking around just frustrated because I have to deal with this weather. They're playing football in this weather. They're playing. They're on the field having to perform in this weather. So I knew that was a tough game. Shame on our our coach, Cleveland. We ran the ball. And I'm gonna let you go in a minute. I have to get this off my chest. We ran the ball, Cleveland. My guy Mostert finished the game 8 carries, 33 yards. We went to Oregon. I mean, hey, that was a cold one. We Mostert ran the ball 8 carries for 33 yards. The NFL average, Cleveland, if you average 4 yards a carry, that's good. If you average 4 yards a carry in a football game, that is good. You should be happy with that. So he has above a 4-yard average, right? Cleveland, he should have seen the ball. He should have carried the ball at least 10 more times in the game. At very minimum, 10 more times in that game. There's another stat I want to go to. Again, it's frigid weather. Why we keep trying to put the ball in Tua's hand. He passed the ball 39 times, Cleveland. 39 times. 39 times. The game was not out of reach until late in the game. So the game was a 26-7 game, but it was closer than that. We were 2 scores down for a large part of that game. Okay. Mostert 8 carries. Waddle 1 carry. A-Chain 6 carries. So between A-Chain are legitimate running backs. A-Chain and Mostert, we have 14 carries. They should have had 28 carries that game. Minimum. 28 carries. Minimum. Off the rip. 28 carries. In the second half, Tua, we run the ball again early in the fourth quarter. We're down 2 scores. We run the ball with Mostert. He picks up 6 yards. We run the ball with A-Chain. He picks up 4 yards. We get the first down. We run the ball. Come back with Mostert. He picks up 4 yards. A-Chain gets the ball. It's 3rd and 1. Why the fuck is Tua passing the ball? Why is Tua passing the ball? They call a pass play. Run the damn ball. You're averaging like 5 yards a carry this drive. Run the ball. They go for it on 4th and they don't. Tua, the ball snapped between his legs. He then picks it up. He flips it out there. Incomplete pass. They come back and go for it on 4th down. They pass the ball again. Run the damn ball, McDaniels. This is your bread and butter. This is what you brought from San Francisco is a running game. Run the damn ball. There was a game there. McDaniels, you gotta McDaniels, you have to take some blame for that. I'm gonna blame Tua because he has a noodle arm, and unless the situation is picture perfect, 82 degrees, the wind blowing at 0.2 miles per hour, the receivers are running wide open, because that's what you told me, Cleveland, in college. When he has the best receivers at Alabama, you will give him the best receivers and let's see what we can do. Well, it's fucking frigid. It's 13 degrees. It's negative 13 degrees out there. For whatever reason, Waddle didn't drink his a chicken broth on the sideline, so he's out there running around like it is 13 degrees out there. He gets hurt every other play. So Waddle, your guy Waddle, who you said we were too good to have, you want him? You want Waddle? You send me DK. I'll send you Waddle. How about that? You said you were so super high on Waddle coming out of college. You send me DK. I'll send you Waddle. You want Waddle? Yeah. You don't even want to talk about that. You don't even want to consider that one right now, do you? My Tyreek Hill. Our guy just can't get you the ball, Tyreek. And I doubt we hear in this offseason Tyreek Hill says he has the most accurate passer in the NFL. I doubt we hear that. I doubt we hear he has the best, the quarterback with the best arm in the NFL. I doubt we hear that this offseason. Going into next season, where everything's hunky-dory, fresh and breezy during the offseason, I don't think during training camp, I don't think Tyreek Hill will utter the comments, I have the best quarterback with the most accuracy and the strongest arm throwing me the ball. You want to put something on that? You want to put something on Tyreek Hill saying that? Yeah, exactly. But Tyreek, I ain't getting on you, but you better watch what you say from now on, because that we didn't prove. He proved us nothing. Diddly poo. How did my man say? We didn't do anything. Diddly poo. That's what Tua Tagovailoa did for us in the playoffs. Diddly poo. Tua's on the trading blocks, guys. Tua's on the trading blocks. He's on the trading blocks. The one thing I did see somebody text Justin Fields. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Justin Fields. I would keep Tua. I would keep Tua if the option was Justin Fields. But there's a lot of quarterbacks out there. I'd rather have a quarterback in my team than Tua Tagovailoa. There's a lot of. No, I don't want Jimmy G. No. You guys better figure something else out. You guys got the rookie McConnell. He'll be good for you guys. There's a lot of quarterbacks I'd rather have than Tua Tagovailoa. You tell me, go ahead. That's your guy. You try to tell me, oh, he's good. He'll be okay. I'm not paying Tua. He doesn't get a max contract this year. He needs another season, unfortunately. I can't pay him. I can't pay a guy who can't win in the playoff time. I can't pay. I can't do it. I can't do it. As good as he looked last year, in crunch time, he pissed all over himself. As good as he looked this year, led the league in passing, in crunch time, he pissed all over himself. That does not earn a max contract from me. For me, as a general manager, that does not garner a max contract, Cleveland. We got the 20th pick, man. We might have to do some moving around. We might have to package him to Atlanta for one of their picks, package him to hopefully Washington, the Commanders. Hopefully they didn't really watch the game, and they're going to say, oh, Kansas City, hopefully they didn't pay no attention and to see what he did in that cold weather. Maybe we can get something out of the Commanders. They got a top 10 draft pick. Maybe we can get something for them. I don't know. I can't pay Tua. Go ahead, Cleveland. What do you got to say? Where am I wrong?
Yeah, Cam, a couple of things. First and foremost, congratulations to the Miami Dolphins on this season for making the playoffs. They took some positive strides going forward.
Wait, I'm cutting Cleveland off right now because I want you guys to hear this.
Well, Cam, first and foremost, I want to take this opportunity, fans, to say that I am firmly on the 305 bandwagon.
You guys hear that? And so now he's good season, and you guys celebrate. Go ahead, finish.
Let me finish. Damn,
you did finish. They heard what I needed them to hear.
Okay, so first and foremost, with regards to the playoff situation, Tua Tagovailoa is from the island of Samoa. Okay,
so what?
It never gets to be negative 21 degrees over there. He's played his entire NFL career for the Miami Dolphins. It never gets to be negative 21 degrees there. Played his college football at Alabama. It never gets to be negative 21.
It does. It does. I'm here right now, and it's 20 degrees out there right now
during football season, and it's a 90-degree difference, Cam. When those guys left Miami, it was 70 degrees. It went to minus 21.
They should have been in Kansas
That's
City.
like if
They
it was.
should have been in
That's like
Kansas
if
City
it
on
was
Tuesday.
90 degrees.
They should have been in
Kansas
Kansas
City.
City.
That was 0 degrees. He's not built for that. We all know that. Like you said, the game that you need to point to is that Tennessee Titan game. Had they won that game, they'd be in the warmth, and they would have the the elements behind them. As I've said the entire season, they are warm weather.
Hold on, Cleveland. You see, if you ever noticed, Hero doing everything he can to stay in South Beach. Hero was working out. Hero was running laps, running on the beach. He's doing everything he can to stay in South Beach. I wish my quarterback had that same.
Some more, back to my man Tua. He didn't miss a game this year. Okay. And we had the over-under on how many games he would miss. I think you said it was like 6. It was something ridiculously low. He hit all of those benchmarks. Okay.
He should have been. Eric said 15. If they win the game in Tennessee, he's sitting in game 17.
If it was a tough loss. Tough loss game.
Exactly.
The running game, it was consistent. Mostert with the 18 touchdowns, that was great.
20.
The 18 rushing touchdowns I'm talking about.
20.
It wasn't 20 rushing touchdowns.
It was franchise record 20 touchdowns.
Anyways, establish the running game. At times, Cam, again, I think we were forgetting they were playing the defending Super Bowl champions.
Man, cut it out, man. They did not look like the defending champions all year long.
Okay,
all year long.
But they are the defending Super Bowl champions, right?
Cleveland, they didn't look like the defending Super Bowl champions.
Okay, but they are the defending Super Bowl champions, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they were playing the defending Super Bowl champions at home. Taylor Swift up in the booth. A lot was going against them, Cam. It was cold. They knew their plays. I think maybe somebody was stealing their signs. I think I heard something out there like that. But going forward,
I'm about to cut this guy off, man.
Going forward, the Miami Dolphins will use this as a teachable moment. They will understand how important home field advantage can be. And your guy's not getting traded. He's going to sign for $250 million. So you need to just get used to.
I've already put my call in to Stephen Ross. Stephen, do not offer this clown a contract.
It's not your money. It's not your money, Cam. And he's seen how these other franchises have gone without their quarterbacks. And you say there's a whole bunch of quarterbacks you would want more than Tua. You can't name more than 8. At 8 is a stretch.
Give me a sec. I'm gonna go down the list. I'm gonna tell you.
Go down the list. Take your time. Tell me when we get to number 8. And Brock Purdy should not be on your list.
Brock Purdy's number 1. What are you talking about?
Okay. You're already delusional, but keep going, man. Keep going down the list. Need some help? Need to accelerate this process real quick?
No, go ahead. Finish your soliloquy. I'll give you my.
No. I'm done here. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa is going to get the 5-year $250, and it's going to go from there. And the Dolphins can continue to move forward, and hopefully they've learned their lesson. Don't want to give other teams the opportunity to expose them to the elements. They're not built that way. They're built on speed to score a lot of points, running up and down the field.
Are you ready to count off? Are you ready to count off my list?
Ram style.
Are you ready to count? Are you ready to start counting right now?
Count 'em.
Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Jared Goff.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
Jared Goff. Jared moving on in the playoffs. Jordan Love. CJ Stroud. Boom boom.
Give you 2. I don't know about Jordan. I'll give you CJ. There's 2.
Well, how you gonna tell me who I'd rather have on my team?
I'm just saying you're not correct. I give you 2.
Joe Burrow, Jared Goff. That's 1 and 2.
No.
Josh Allen. As much as I'm not a fan of Josh Allen, I would definitely take him.
There's
I would
3.
definitely take him on my team.
Kind of.
Brock Purdy,
I'll
Patrick
give you
Mahomes,
5.
Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud. I mean,
Yeah,
I
5.
take Matthew Stafford on at this stage in his career. I take Matthew Stafford.
No, you would not. No, you would not.
Justin Herbert.
No.
What do you mean, no?
You've already seen Justin Herbert is not who you thought he was.
No, no. Justin Herbert was Mike
Do
McDaniels.
they make the playoffs this year?
That doesn't mean I wouldn't take him.
Okay.
Joe Burrow didn't make the playoffs either.
So no.
Joe Burrow didn't make the playoffs either. Yeah, you need to watch the show more because I'm not taking Tannehill to just not make the list. There, big guy. So how many? What are we at? 7 now? Right now? You said 8.
I mean, on my list we're at 4. I mean, your list is kind of ridiculous. You're throwing some people on there that don't deserve to be on the list. My list is more legit, so 4 on the legit list. Yeah, LeBron Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Okay, you get to 5 and 6. Please continue.
He's right there with Jalen Hurts. Really, Jalen Hurts he looked better, much better last year. But they
Okay. Well, then take Jalen off. Then okay, so we're at 5.
They're right there.
5.
But yeah, certainly Lamar Jackson. You know what, Cleveland? I'm gonna do this. You won't agree, but I'm gonna take that dude from Wazoo, Gardner Minshew. I roll with Gardner Minshew. Justin Fields, no, I can't do Justin Fields. No, I can't do it. Jake Browning. I take Kyler Murray right now over my man. Over your guy. What do you mean? You shaking your head? No. Who else in it? Deshaun Watson. I need to see training camp. Deshaun, how you gonna be coming back? I mean, I think I just named like 10 quarterbacks right there.
But you only need 5 legitimate quarterbacks, though. That's the problem. You ran this team pretty quickly.
I can't pay, though. I've seen him already. I've seen him. I'm gonna trade. I trade for Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jalen Daniels. I trade for one of those guys.
You keep Tua in the 305. You keep him warm. You keep him in the right temperature.
I don't know. We don't get to Dak either. I don't know if I'd make that one.
No, you would take Tua Tagovailoa over Dak Prescott for sure.
That's where things are.
Right, Cam, keep him upright. Keep him warm.
That's right where things are right there. Tua and Dak head and head. That's right about. I mean, 6 and 1/2 dozen up another.
Well, Tua beat Dak head up, right?
I mean, barely.
Okay, well, look, man. He's gonna get his $250 million.
He fumbled the bag
over the summer.
He fumbled the bag. The Eagles infighting. We talked about that. There, would you fire Sirianni? Do you keep him on? Like, I think that hearing that the players objected to having new.
You keep him on. The coach didn't go and get Patricia. The owners went and got Patricia. That's not the coach's fault.
I mean, so okay, if that's the deal, the owners went and got him because again, there's a pull for a power struggle there. If the owners went and got him, they're not playing for Sirianni. They may like Sirianni, but they're not playing for Sirianni. We're gonna get a pay now. I'll play this right now for you. I found this kind of funny. If that is the actual situation, Cleveland, they're not playing for Sirianni, and that means that he didn't have the coaching, the gravitas that you want from your head coach, right? He doesn't have the gravitas that you want from your head coach.
What are we listening to? What are we saying here, man?
Listen to this. This is kind of funny. All right, here we go. Can you hear it?
You have, if you do come back, have you gotten any wind on what's going to happen with Nick? And you have confidence in if you do come back, that confidence in him if he's also the head coach.
Like any news about what about Nick?
Nick, I mean, there's obviously some speculation about whether he may be fired or not.
Huh?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Man, he head football coach of this team, man. Come on, man. There ain't even no discussion about that.
Yeah, okay. You don't think it's gonna happen?
I don't got nothing to say about that, man. You're a clown, bro. Get out of my face, bro.
Yeah, of course, yeah, I love Nick. I think Nick's a great coach. I really do. I think he's a great head coach. Obviously,
that was it. That was it. What do you think about Fletcher Cox? What do you think about his response, dog?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's too soon for all that, man. They just, were 10-1. Made the playoffs. Some things happen. It's unfortunate. Perhaps some chemistry issues within the locker room, but I don't think necessarily that firing the head coach is the answer. Although the league turns over 25% of its coaches every year, kind of like clockwork these days. But that's typically the bottom 8 teams that turn over their coaches, not a coach that just went to the Super Bowl and didn't make the playoffs. I mean, and lost both his offensive and defensive coordinator from last season. So
again, what impact does he have in if he lost his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator from last year's Super Bowl run, and then the owner's not allowing him to make decisions on who's best for his coaching staff? Like, what power does he have? I'm with Fletcher. I like.
He has the power of being the head coach. He doesn't have Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick type control with regards to personnel. So, I mean, what are you going to do? And personnel and coaching decisions as well. So,
what do you think of? What do you think of? Do you give the reporter any credit for bringing that up to Fletcher Cox?
No, it's a cornball question. I mean, it's kind of like asking Tomlin about your job security. It's kind of like you're just trying to just get attention, really. Maybe there's a small uprising of people that want to, ask that question and get a definitive answer, but you're not going to get a definitive answer to that question, and it's premature, and it's kind of inappropriate, to be perfectly honest with you.
That was he called him a cornball. I thought that was pretty funny. I am not taking Aaron Rodgers over Tua Tagovailoa. Me personally,
for two seasons, I would. I
mean, when we saw how this season worked out, why would you do that?
Because if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, he's probably top 5 quarterback in this league.
Yeah, come on, man. He's old as you and I. He's not, that health is not going to be there. You know that. So Sirianni, you say they keep Sirianni. The bad coaching. I think bad coaching helped Jordan Love rout the Cowboys. Would you fire McCarthy? Because that team clearly came out with no energy. They clearly they came out with no spunk, no fire in the belly. I mean, you go down 27-0, like, dog, in Dallas, in your home field where you've been blowing cats out all season long. Like, they've averaged a 34 to like 16 win in Dallas, and you guys lose that game. Clearly, what makes it so bad for Mike McCarthy too, they lose to the Green Bay Packers, the team he used to coach for, to the guy who replaced him. They lose to the guy who replaced you, comes down and whacks you like that. Like, it's like, oh, really? They knew what they were doing all along. Green Bay Packers did. Not only did they get rid of the longtime quarterback, then they get rid of the longtime coach who took him to the Super Bowl, who actually won a Super Bowl for him. They killed that dynasty, or that killed that era, brought in this guy, and then they meet Mike McCarthy in Dallas, in the team that he's coaching for, and blew him out the stadium. That was a bad look for McCarthy. Apparently, they decided to keep McCarthy on. They've already decided that they're going to keep McCarthy on. He's sticking around. But that was a bad look on McCarthy. We agree on that one, right?
It was a bad look. And billionaires don't like to be embarrassed, and none less than Jerry Jones, especially when he had such Super Bowl aspirations. He was giddy about this team getting to where
giddy is a good word for it. Yes,
you wanted them to be, and just to see the Green Bay Packers just come out and just shellac them like that. I would not put it past Jerry to have a change of heart and say, you know what, upon further review, and I went on a yachting cruise with Bill Belichick, and we chalked it, chalked it up for a minute, and I think it's time to go in a different direction, my dude.
I mean, that's something that could happen. Dan Quinn was a hot commodity. We know what he did in Dallas, or excuse me, in Atlanta. They gave up the 28-3 lead against the Patriots. Some of that you could say was he had them in position to win. You could say it was Shanahan not running the ball. Shanahan trying to make Matt Ryan super duper special because he was having a good season that year, and they just kept passing the ball instead of running the ball to run the damn clock out. So depending on who you put that loss on, then you have the Cowboys all season long looking solid, and then you give up this type of game at home. Again, you like rings, I like moments. This wasn't a good moment for Dan Quinn. Are you excited to have Dan Quinn? Is Dan Quinn still the front runner to be the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah, but I'm not as happy about it as I was previously before this game.
What, last week you were ecstatic about it?
Last week I was pretty much resigned to the fact that was going to be that, and I was pretty happy about that. But
and now
after watching this last performance, I am not 100% sold that he's the person to come in and right the ship here. Maybe we just need a fresh perspective. Oh,
you want to go a different direction. You don't even want to entertain Dan Quinn now.
I think it's inevitable that he's going to be the coach of the Seahawks. I know they're interviewing a whole bunch of people and it's going a bunch of different directions, but I think that they've already kind of decided it's going to be Dan Quinn. So
I mean, Bobby Wagner. Do we pull Bobby Wagner from the uniform? Coaches, players, former players are doing great jobs as coaches now in the league. We look at DeMeco Ryans. We see Dan Campbell doing their job, and Antonio Pierce should be the front runner for the Raiders job. Bobby Wagner. I mean, instead of sending him out there to cover some tight ends and running backs off the backfield, why not have you coach it up on scheme it up?
No, I'm not. I can't really speculate on personnel moves right now at present. Do I think Bobby Wagner has one more year? I think he has one more year. Maybe half a season.
You're okay with what you saw from Bobby Wagner last year?
I've always said, football players age in dog years. So,
and we saw that coming back from the Rams. You saw he was not that same guy that you should have signed before he went to LA. Then when you signed when he came back from LA.
Depends on what your level of expectation is for him. Leadership, those kind of things. Showing the young pups how to do things the correct way. But Bobby Wagner from 2018, no, that's not that guy.
I mean, come on, you joking? We know Marshawn ain't gonna coach nobody up unless it's the Pop Warner squad. We know Marshawn can't do it, but Marshawn needs part of the NFL job is to coach up or to talk to the media. Marshawn ain't doing that. I don't know, Cleveland. Bobby, come on, we saw the best of Bobby. Dan Quinn, I'd be questioned. If the contract was already signed, you kind of hold to that. Dan Quinn, you better hope you signed that contract last week, and we're just waiting for the season to end because that was a bad look, and he was a hot commodity. He was a hot commodity coming out this season, and we talked about the disappearing act from your guy podcast Parson. Cleveland, when your running back comes out and says, I'm not saying anything about the coach, but things need to change around here. Like, I'm not saying we weren't focused, but things kind of need to change around here, and we need to be more focused. Is that not calling out the coach out? That doesn't sound like he called the coach out to me. What does that sound like to you?
That sounds like somebody that is looking for employment elsewhere is what it sounds like to me, Cam. I mean, it's not like Najee Harris has just been tearing it up, barely getting any carries as it is. I believe Jalen Warren is really the cowbell right about now. So, hey, man, it just might be one of those things where he might already know that he's on his way out. So, might as well take some parting shots on the way out.
Oh, he just taking shots. Oh, you had the team personnel clean out his locker for him. We didn't, so we don't need a.
That's how you feel about it,
We don't need an end of the season interview from you, huh?
Well, not really. Not really. You already gave your, end of the season interview. Oh, is that how you feel?
Oh boy, just pass his locker right on up, huh? Go ahead and grab that name tag too, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh boy, that's a cold one. That's a cold one. Cleveland, who had the better playoff debut? CJ Stroud or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
Woo! You actually gave somebody credit over the Golden Boy CJ Stroud?
Man, Jordan Love was lighting those fools up. I mean, a lot of the time, again, like we said earlier in the show, sometimes those guys were wide open for no apparent reason. But still, he took advantage of them.
Ooh,
let those dudes up.
This is a great question, Jim Wall. AJ Brown ain't going nowhere.
AJ Brown's going nowhere.
Yeah, he's not going nowhere. He didn't play. He was injured in this game, so that was an injury. They could look at. You know what? Speaking of this game, AJ Brown is comfortable. He ain't going nowhere. Everybody for the Eagles look like shit except number 6. He came to play. I don't recall seeing him play with that much fervor. We knew he was good. We knew he can get open. We knew he can catch passes. He was going over the middle. He was running routes. He was breaking tackles. I can't remember Devontae Smith playing with that much fervor. Can you? Am I overlooking something? Because he was.
Sure. And the Alabama days, I mean, you recall, came on the Heisman Trophy.
Open, man. He was just wide open. Though. He was just burning guys. That was speed. That was speed. He'd run the slant route and just was gone. It wasn't what he was doing. What he was doing on Monday. Again, he was running precision routes, getting open, catching the ball. He was breaking tackles. He looked like a big time receiver. I've seen him catch passes, go deep before. Yeah, you go deep, you catch 3 passes in a game, 1 for 70 yards. Yeah, it's a good game, great game. But he was like 6 for 130 on Monday night. Like, that was their big target. I mean, he looked really good to me. But to answer your question, no, Brown's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Stroud Texas wasn't still in the contest to midway through the third. Yeah. No, that game was over. That game was over at halftime. The Texans was.
No, I mean that was still somewhat of a game.
I mean that game was over. What are you talking about?
The other game was 27, like you said, 27-7.
It was
at halftime. Yeah. And then 34-14.
Yeah, and then they had some garbage points. Yeah, Lions squeaked by the Rams. Golf, was that a redemption game for Golf? I mean, you apparently don't like Golf.
I do like Golf. I like Golf in that offense. It is predicated around what he is good at, and they don't ask him to do too much, and they accentuate the positives, which is why they're in the position that they're in right now.
They run the ball when they had to, but I liked the call. They had the ball.
Porter was healthy, which was a godsend for those dudes.
Yes, they had the ball. It was a 1 point game. They're holding off the Rams. The Rams punt. I'm not sure why the Rams punt the ball with 4 minutes to go. Well, 4 minutes of the game. I'm not sure. Like, I might have went for it there. I might have went for that one. But the Rams punt the ball. So they get the ball with just over 4 minutes to go. A couple runs, put the ball in the under 2 minutes. They got a couple first downs. The Rams use their timeout. So now one more first down and the game's over. And instead of running the ball, and try to run a couple cheap running plays and, hope for a first down, or they came out and passed the ball. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra is spectacular. He was the receiver for Gardner Minshew. No, excuse me. I take that back. Excuse me. He was not the receiver.
Yeah, please take that all the way back.
Who was gee whiz? How am I having a brain for it? The guy never made the NFL. He played 6 games in the NFL. He reminded me of Gardner Minshew, the quarterback he was. Who was kind of throwing the ball up and hoping. But Amon-Ra was going to get that thing. he was going to get that thing. So it was like, okay, keep throwing it up to him. Amon-Ra was borderline great in college, but because USC stunk, he wasn't getting no shine. But he was borderline great in college. But they throw the ball instead of on first down. Coming out of the timeout, one first down wins the game instead of kind of doing what most people do: run the ball, and then go, a little screen pass or pass to the tight end on third down. They came out and we're getting the first down right now, and Detroit went bananas. Amon-Ra St. Brown run a deep in route, golf threw it right on the money. Amon-Ra catches it again. That placement, golf threw it low where his guy can catch it, and it wasn't like they needed to catch and run. But
man,
first down.
Tell me some more about your sudden affinity with Jared Goff, man, because it's kind of gone off the rails.
It's not Jared. It's not the affinity. I'm just the moment. I told you, Cleveland, you're about rings. I'm about moments. That was a big moment. That was about a big moment for the team, how they put the Rams away. The team that, again, another side story, the team that drafted him number 1, traded him away to Detroit, and Stafford goes to L.A., they win the Super Bowl. Yeah, Goff had something on that game. And instead of Dan Campbell, instead of running the ball and, getting a cheap first down, they came out, let's end this game right now with a first down right now. Ran a route completion. And I talked to you about CJ. CJ put the ball on the money where the receivers can run the ball, catch and run. Goff threw it in the ground, so Amon-Ra had to catch it and go down, which was fine because that's what the scenario called for. It was a first down. And now for the last 2 minutes of the game, all of Detroit is just going bananas. All of Detroit is going bananas because they haven't won a playoff game in 30-plus years. So, I mean, that was a good moment. That was a good moment for Goff. That was a good moment for the Lions world, man. They start showing Lions fans who was there since 1957, man. You remember how it was when the Seahawks blistered the Broncos. They got the safety on the first play. That game was over. Once they got the safety on the first play, that game was over. And I know I don't know where you were at that moment, but I know you remember how you felt at that moment. So you don't downplay the Lions' excitement, because I know you remember that moment where you recognized the Seahawks is about to win their first Super Bowl, and it was Peyton Manning have fumbled, the snap went over his head. From that moment on, it wasn't a ball game. Let the fans know where you were, Cleveland, because I know you know.
Yeah, I was sitting right here on the couch, absorbing, every minute.
On the couch?
Yeah.
Man, I was in New York City.
I know you did it big. You did it big.
I was in New York City. It was my threshold. I had I don't know. I'm not sure if I told you this before, but my brother, his wife, my cousin came out. My cousin went to the game. My threshold was $800. I wasn't gonna pay more than $800 for a ticket, but like I needed a ticket. I wasn't waiting for kickoff. I needed a ticket like early. I wasn't gonna wait to go to the stadium at any time. If I was gonna go, I needed to be on my way to the stadium by like noon. They think the game started at 3 or 4 o'clock. I needed to be there. Like I wasn't going last minute. But Boomer Esiason had a bar. Has I don't know. I haven't been there since. But Boomer Esiason had a bar for $50. Cleveland. For $50, I bought 4 tickets from the time of kickoff to the end of the whistle. All you can eat, all you can drink. Oh my goodness. For $50, Cleveland, that was a deal. All you can eat. It was bar food. It wasn't steak and lobster. It was bar food. All you can eat, all you can drink from a full bar. By the end of that night, Cleveland. By the end of that night, I staggered to my hotel room. I staggered to my hotel room. When they blew the four, it was like, okay, just every time the waitress come, are you guys good? I was like, yeah, bring some more. Bring another round. Cleveland. By the time that, again, the game was over. The game was over in the first 3 minutes of the game, right? So we were, oh my goodness. I staggered to my hotel room that night. I can tell you that for sure. I enjoyed that win, like close to me, like the Dolphins win the Super Bowl. I enjoyed that night. Man, it was an unbelievable night. By the time that final whistle blew, Cleveland, our table was full of drinks. Because I just kept ordering more and more and more. Drinks, like not undrinking drinks. Like they were shots. They were doubles, and they were double shots. But their table was full. So even after the game, we stayed another 2 hours just drinking what we had on the table. We didn't order for $50. For $50 at Boomer Esiason Bar. Boy, he couldn't have made no money that night. He couldn't have made no money that night because we were getting our money's worth. It was crazy. Nah, man, it wasn't. We didn't eat a lot of food. I mean, we had a meal, and it was bar food, but it was the drinks. I live in LA. At the time, I lived in Los Angeles, so one drink was $15. Okay, we're in New York City. One of those drinks was $15 to $17. At the end of the night, man, our table was full of drinks. Again, Boomer couldn't have made much money that night. The bar was full, sure. The bar was full, yes, it was. But he didn't make money off of me. I know I drank well over that $50. Drank well over that $50. But that was a big moment for the Detroit Lions. You stop hating on the Detroit Lions. All of Detroit was going bananas.
I'm not hating on him, Cam. I'm just not giving Jared Goff as much love and pub as you are.
That was a big win. He deserves it. Kudos to beating the team that traded you away. Man, that was a big moment. That was a very big moment. I give him even more credit for in the post-game interview just saying, yeah, it's she asked, well, what does it say about you playing against the team that traded you away? And he's like, it was all about the team. I give him credit for that because I would have been like, yeah, they made a bad decision. I might have said, yeah, Sean, take that. I might have said something to that effect. But yeah, he was like, it's all about the team. And kudos to you. I'm giving Jared Goff a round of applause for that big win. Yeah. Cleveland. So we talked about some of the openings that are there. The Bears, they decided to go. They're going to keep their head coach Eberflus and go ahead and make some coordinator changes. We're going to talk about it again before the draft actually happens. Well, what do you think about Williams making he wants assurances that the Bears are going to trade their number 1 pick so that he doesn't have to go to the Bears? What do you think about this dude?
Very arrogant. He's been that way since he came into college football. He wants to call his own shots. I mean, if he had his way, he would just go to whatever team he wanted and, negotiate with him directly. I mean, if he wants to come back, to college football next year because he doesn't like, where he's going to go potentially next year, then, go ahead and do that. But as the number 1 pick in the draft, you go to the worst team in the league. That's how it works every time.
Yeah, I think that's kind of wild. So Belichick leaves. Belichick It was announced Thursday that he left. They didn't come to an agreement. Him and Kraft. The next head coach is going to be Jared Mayo. I like the fact that Jared Mayo gets a job. But why we always get the shitty jobs? Like none of these top coaches available were going to go to New England. No quarterback, team that didn't make the playoffs, a 4-win team. Do you have any confidence that Mayo can turn this franchise around?
No, not really, because the level of expectation is so high, and it's had such a solid foundation to this point. I mean, obviously there were some things that went awry this season, and probably the last couple of seasons. Most notably, Tom Brady's not there, but
yeah, here you go with that.
Crap. Most notably, Tom Brady's not there, but I think he can. If he can get 7-8 wins, he gets to live another season. Build upon that.
Sick of you guys. It was a head coach. It wasn't the player. It was the head coach. Is there a chance that with Bill, the Jets? No, not a chance. If you remember Ballandre, excuse me, Bill Belichick was a head coach for the Jets for all about 21 minutes. That's when Bill Parcells, he retired. Did he retire and anoint Bill Belichick as a head coach? Is that how it went down? Or he just named Bill Belichick? I'm retiring. Here's my successor, Bill Belichick. And Bill was caught off guard. It was like, I can't. I'm not doing this. And then I think it was 2 days later, he ended up being the head coach of the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's not going there. Falcons. Why would he go to the Falcons? Like, I've heard a lot about that, but why would he go to the Falcons? What's
money and control, Cam? Money and control. That's why he would go there.
They don't have a quarterback.
Hey, man, they can work with Ritter or draft another one.
Witter stinks. They're not working with Witter at all. Would you choose the Falcons or the Cowboys? I think if Nick Sirianni lost his job, that would be a better fit. I feel like that would be a better fit going to coach the Eagles versus the Cowboys. I don't think Atlanta's a good fit. I don't think that.
I don't think Bill Belichick has the personality to coach in Dallas. It's just too much attention, and he doesn't really like all that. So Atlanta's kind of a cool little fit for him. If he ends up there, not a lot of expectation and kind of a laid back media persona. So yeah, I think that would be a good move for him.
I don't know. I think Philly would be a better job, but we'll see how it goes. I think he's better built for Philly. It would be my speculation. So now Harbaugh's available. Belichick, Vrabel, Ron Rivera, Alex Smith, or who used to coach the Falcons. Pete Carroll, Nick Saban. Who's the best coach available?
Best coach available is Bill Belichick per resume. Best coach available per dedication to what it is that they're doing. Hard to say.
So Harbaugh, obviously, I think Harbaugh is a really good coach. I talked to you weeks about why I think he's a great coach. If he's a shoo-in for the Charger job, and so if we just took him off the list and left Belichick, Vrabel, Rivera, Smith, Carroll, and Saban, do we know what Pete Carroll is going to do? And is Pete Carroll going to stick around for 7 to 8, 9 years? Or is Carroll just going to be 3 years in a cloud of dust? That's what I need clarity on. But I think I would go Vrabel over all these guys. I go Vrabel. With Vrabel, they're going to be solid. They're going to be solid. Atlanta should go Vrabel.
Is that ageism talking, Cam? When you say that,
it might be. It might be because Vrabel, we never been to Super Bowl,
never won a Super Bowl.
Never won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl playing as a player, not as a head coach. You're right.
So as a head coach, he's never won the Super Bowl. Right.
But Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll are in their 70s already.
Okay, so there's some ageism going on there. You don't think they're up for the commitment for the long term, and you want somebody younger?
How many coaches have coached into their 80s?
Marv Levy coaching to at least into his 80s.
So that's one coach out of how many coaches are coaching in the NFL?
I mean, that's a long time ago. These guys are young and spry. It's a new thing.
Okay.
It's 2024.
Okay. I mean, Pete's unfinished. Best coach available, John Gruden. I mean, he tried to sue the league to come back. So I mean, that's not totally false there.
John can't come back.
Yeah. You meant you heard the Seattle media say?
Yeah, no, I heard the Pete Carroll press conference, and he most definitely wants to coach. He most definitely wants the opportunity to do so. But again, there's a lot of ageism going on here.
I would consider
if you're signing on to do something when you're 72 years old. I mean, conventional wisdom says I'll be lucky if you get to 77.
Right. That's the point I'm making.
Pretty old, right? So
that's the point I'm making. So I would say he needs to go. Pete, if the Eagles job was available, Pete needs to go to like the Eagles job, a team that's ready to produce today. He needs to go to the Cowboys job. That'd be a job where he can produce today, and we would have him for 5 years and make a solid run for 5 years. I just don't think Vrabel is younger coach. Obviously, I think he's going to be around longer. Now, I'm not trying to be derogatory to these guys' opportunity, but yeah, it is ageism in the sense that I just don't know who's going to be around the longest. But if Harbaugh doesn't go to the Chargers, if I'm the Spanos family, I'm calling Pete Carroll. Now I'm calling Pete Carroll to do that. And here's why I was talking about Pete Carroll not being around long term, and why that would not be a good move for the Chargers is because you're saying just by your own account, Pete Carroll is going to coach another 5 years. Let's say we're going to get the best of Pete Carroll for 5 years. That means Justin Herbert will now have to endure another head coach. He's been on, Anthony Lynn, Brandon Staley, whoever the coach is this time. And then he's going to have to endure his fourth head coach in his career and another offensive scheme, kind of as a veteran in the league. That's you're not getting the best out of Justin Herbert doing that. However, I know Pete addresses the one issue for the Chargers that no other team can offer him, and that's the fan base. Pete Carroll has a fan base in Southern California already. So as soon as he puts on the Chargers hat and say, he should come in there chewing his gum, say it's competition Wednesday, they're not going to be able to hold the fans out of the building because those USC fans are coming. They can't wait to jump on Pete's bandwagon. So that's the issue that Pete saw for the Chargers tomorrow, is that they have an instant fan base. Harbaugh doesn't have that. They'll be excited to get Harbaugh, but he doesn't come with a built-in fan base. Again, they'll be excited to get him. Harbaugh will produce some wins. They say, if you win, they will come. Sure. Pete, they're there, period, already. Pete's talking to him like he's talking, like you and I are talking. So that's my thing. That's my thing with Pete. Now, the best job available is Chargers. We agree. I think the Raiders is a good job. Falcons, Commanders, Titans, Seahawks. 3 of these 6 teams, the Chargers have a quarterback. The Falcons don't have a quarterback. Commanders don't have a quarterback. Titans have their rookie quarterback. Seahawks, they're looking for a quarterback. And the Raiders are looking for a quarterback. We know Russell's not going to Seattle. We know he's not going to the Chargers. Raiders, Falcons, Commanders, Titans. Let's throw the Steelers in there for the mix. What's the best landing spot for Russell Wilson?
Falcons.
Falcons more so than Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
More so than the Steelers. Okay. All right, fans. Do I think Gino?
I hope not.
Share your thoughts on Gino.
I hope not. I hope they are
Gino?
moving on. I hope they are talking to Kirk Cousins as we speak. I hope they're talking to some of these other quarterbacks out there and looking at their draft capital to see what they can do.
What would you pay Kirk Cousins to come QB your team?
35 mil.
Kirk Cousins might want 3 years, 35 mil.
That's cool. Come on down.
Dudes at Tyrod Taylor. Listen, we don't want to do Tyrod either. All right, fans. So last week, here was our supremacy rankings. This was last week here. You see San Francisco, Baltimore, Dallas, Detroit, and Buffalo was on my list. You had Baltimore, San Francisco, Dallas, Houston. Houston has squeaked into your top 10. And then you had the Rams. Let's see what your list is this week. Did I cut some of it off? I had San Francisco, Detroit, Baltimore, Buffalo as my top 4 team. I probably had not sure who I had as my 15 as my 5th team in there. You got Baltimore, Detroit, San Francisco, Detroit, Houston early. Okay. All right. The fans, here's our confidence picks last week. As we know, we picked 5 games or 5 teams that we have the most confidence in winning. And boy, Buffalo saved me because I stuck it up. I didn't get any of them right. You got 3 of the 5 right, give you 10 points. But boy, oh boy, did I stick it out. I'm looking like the Eagles in the second half of the season. My numbers just keep dropping. Here's the picks for last week. Buffalo's only, again, just like a confidence pick, Buffalo the only team that gave me some points last week. Cleveland, you had the Chiefs. You had Houston over the Browns. I think I was laughing at you then. And you had Green Bay. Look at you, Green Bay over Dallas. What was your logic there?
I just thought that the moment would be too big for the Dallas Cowboys and that they were a little bit too full of themselves and weren't giving Green Bay enough credit. And Aaron Jones, from the very beginning of the game, didn't feel that at all. Felt like it was kind of his house and made it be known. Let it be known.
Yeah, that was wild. You had the Rams, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh points against the spread. Did Pittsburgh win that? Wasn't that?
No, Pittsburgh didn't cover. Pittsburgh lost by 14.
Oh, you gave yourself 3 points here, I see.
No, I changed it.
Oh, excuse me. There you go, down there too. Okay, there you go. My bad. Yeah, so that was a bad week for me, fans. This is gonna be a much better week. We got San Francisco beating. I got San Francisco beating the Packers. The Jordan Love ride is over. I got Detroit over the Buccaneers. That another ride that's over. Baltimore over the Texans. You didn't go Houston? What, CJ? No CJ this one?
Fans, truth be told, there are 2 of those games that I wouldn't go out on a limb and pick them necessarily, but would not be surprised if they won. As a matter of fact, Lightweight kind of think they might do the unthinkable. And that would be the 2 aforementioned quarterbacks that we were talking about earlier, that CJ Stroud guy and that Jordan Love guy.
Oh my goodness! You're just hoping. I see you. Fans don't listen to this BS. Don't listen to this BS. Fans don't listen to this BS. You see where he picked
fans. I'm not confident enough to call it to say that that's what's going to happen. I'm just gonna say I wouldn't be surprised that happened.
Fans don't listen to.
Wouldn't be surprised that happened. I'm just saying.
Don't be surprised. He's trying to protect his image right now. You're gonna pay up. Full moon. You're gonna pay up, big guy. San Francisco, he said, but I tell you, if the Green Bay goes up 2 positions, look, they're not playing the Dallas Cowboys. They're playing a different
Oh,
team right here.
oh, my man understands how those 49ers work, huh? Because then they have to be because then they're off schedule. Now every possession is kind of important.
Do you want to change your pick, Cleveland?
Kind of important.
Cleveland, do you want to change your pick?
No, I'm leaving the pick as it is.
Oh. So what are you talking about then? What are you talking about? If you ain't that
I'm
serious,
just
you don't
saying.
want to change
I'm
your
just
pick.
saying.
Do you want to change your pick? Now you can
change
change your pick right now. I'll change your pick right now if you want.
They get off schedule. If they get down 10-zip.
Do you want to change your pick?
Not right now.
Oh, okay. Hush up with that nonsense. If, yeah. Hush it up.
That's a very valid point. That's all I was saying.
Hush it
Our
up.
fans are very knowledgeable. If the 49ers get behind, yeah, it's a different game.
Again, do you want to change your pick right now?
Not right now.
Okay. Shut it up. I got Detroit, Baltimore, and KC. Baltimore against the spread. That's a tough one. I do kind of feel that Houston can keep it close, but I have to roll with. I have more confidence in. I mean, that's a huge spread, 10 points against the Packers too. So I got more confidence in. I'll take the Baltimore. I can't go 10. But Cleveland is taking Green Bay into 10. I mean, you might well just take Green Bay. Change your pick. Take Green Bay.
Conventional wisdom says don't bet against the team that's had the rest and is at home. So,
will there be any doinks? Will there be any doinks from PAT? That's one of those.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure there will be at least one.
Okay, Cleveland's going out there and saying one. That's one of we say that for a Super Bowl. We say that kind of one of our Super Bowl
prop bets, but yeah, I think it's going to happen.
So I got KC, Detroit.
There you go, bite my style again. Just switching up the order. Is that what you did?
Who's that supposed to take?
That's cool.
Who's that supposed to take? Those are our picks for this weekend, fans. So you can take a look at those, make yourself some money. Again, send me $1 if you win something this week. Send me $1 at _voice of the fans on it's my cash app at _voice of the fans. That's my cash app. Send us $1 if you win something. Cleveland, we had a trade in NBA. Pascal Siakam goes to the Pacers for Bruce Brown, Jay Nua. And 3 third-rounders or 3 first-rounders, 3 first-rounders go back to Toronto. New Orleans sends Kyron Lewis to the Raptors as well. Did this move the needle for the Pacers? Did that put the Pacers in a playoff position here?
Cam, ordinarily it would, but when I see a trade like that, I think back to my dad and some of the conversations that we used to have back in the day. And I just don't know how Siakam going from Toronto to Indianapolis culturally is going to work. I mean, we'll see what happens. But, everybody's supposed to be professional. But I don't know. Leaving a free-flowing city like Toronto and going to Indianapolis, Indiana, that's a hard sell.
That's a hard sell for somebody coming from maybe New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami. That might be a hard sell.
Or Toronto. Yeah.
He's not from Toronto.
Perhaps you weren't aware. If Toronto was in the United States, it would be the 5th largest city in America. You knew that, right?
Again, he's not from America. He's not from Toronto.
I know. And so he's going from an international city that was very free-flowing, Canada style, to Indianapolis, Indiana.
I mean, you take a shot to Indiana. What's up? Why you take a shot to Indiana?
Yeah, I would much rather live in Toronto than to live in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm pretty sure Pascal Siakam is going to find that out pretty quickly.
No, but he's going to be on the court with
Can he overcome all that and just make it all about basketball? Well, then, yeah, they're a much better basketball team. But, I mean, is the culture shock going to be too much? We'll see.
Are you good with the Bucks, man? The Bucks, they are 2 in the East. So when I come off on this tangent here, they are 2nd in the East right now. They do have a 700 winning percentage. They were 6-4 in the last 10. However, they just got mopped up by Cleveland by 40 tonight. And a couple of nights ago, they needed a logo 3 by Damian Lillard, to beat the Sacramento Kings. Are you good with the Bucks?
Yeah, they're good.
And Embiid dominates Jokic in Philly last night. He went 30-10 for the 16th straight game to bring them to third in the East. 667 winning percentage, 6-4 in the last 10 games. Are you? I said this last week. I said this on the Hoops and Brews podcast. Embiid, I'm impressed by Embiid when he said earlier in this year that he came out and said the best guys won more than one MVP. He wants to be in that category, saying essentially he wants to play like an MVP this season. That impressed me. That impressed me because it wasn't no big braggadocious line, but he just said the best guys have more than one MVP. He won one last year. He's on the same pace to win one this year. I was impressed by that, and he's been playing pretty solid. Hasn't played any game. He did miss Christmas Day game, but he's been very solid. 16 straight games of 30-10. Like Shaq did that like 10 times. So he's already ahead of Shaq, one of the most dominant guys ever in the paint. So, that's very impressive for Embiid. I like that. What do you think about the Suns coming back down last night from 22 on my Sacramento Kings? Who should be concerned more? The Suns, who have a 550 winning percentage, 7-3 of the last 10 games, number 9 in the West, or my Kings?
The Sacramento Kings should be more concerned. The reason that the Phoenix Suns have such a porous record is because I think Bradley Beal has played 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, he played. I think he might be playing more consistently. Yeah. Results for the Suns there, but again, you come back from 22. That says something. That says something about your resolve. That says something that you haven't given up. And if they're in the play-in, I mean, they could be kind of dangerous if they're in the play-in. The Lakers, didn't they go from the play-in tournament to the Western Conference Finals last year?
Yes, that's correct, Cam. I'm so sorry. I thought you were going to say something about the Clippers ass kicking earlier, or the Oklahoma City Thunder that they just whooped up on.
Here you go. No, I wasn't going to say anything about that. They beat the Thunder this week. Yes, they did. They beat the Thunder this week.
And they beat the Clippers on Sunday too, didn't they? Did they not?
They squeaked by in a victory on Sunday.
Hey, you squeak by, and then you squeak by. You either win or lose a game.
They're still under 500. 4-6 their last 10 games.
Apparently, are
you excited about that?
When it counts.
Are you excited about being 4-10 in the last 10 games?
Not at all.
4-6.
Not at all. I'm excited about the fact that you can still, every once in a while swing a haymaker and hey, let cats know we're still here.
Since you want to bring up the Clippers are 7-2 this month.
That's great.
Okay. 8-2 the last 10. 2.5 games back out of first place in the Western Conference.
Sure thing.
What would you want to talk about them? They have a 65 winning percentage.
Keep killing them. Keep doing it. That chemistry is starting to come together. The LA boys, Harden, Westbrook, George, and Leonard. Yeah, man, they're all just wow, making it happen. Can't wait to see how this whole thing unfolds once we get to the playoffs.
I know you're trying to clown, but
I'm not clowning. Ty Lue should be proud of himself, that coaching job he's done.
I know we know you're trying to clown, but sit back and enjoy the video, okay?
I so want this thing to be basketball, tight ball, get fans close to the action. The most amazing scoreboard, so we can show you anything anybody would want to see. I love our wall. The wall is sound. 51 uninterrupted rows. This is going to be one rocking place.
We're working here to build. That's going to be one rocking place. Did you hear the man?
I did. You know, the only thing I didn't see was a place for banners to be hung. I didn't see any banner hanging areas.
You know what? That was a low blow, man. That was a low blow.
Did you see an area? We can go back to the thing. Where are you hanging the banners at when you win championships and retire numbers and whatnot? Okay, you didn't see the place here.
That was a low blow, man. That was a low blow. Look, he's so tickled over there. He's so tickled over there. Where's your brand new stadium, though? Oh, listen to you. Okay, enough of you too. Enough of you too.
We have two locations present. You know, one Climate Pledge, and you know our other guy is ready to break ground in Soto if they let him.
So he talked about the wall. Ballmer talked about that wall. 51 rows, uninterrupted rows of fans. You know what's not going to happen in that fans? You Laker fans aren't going to be able to sit in that section there. Okay? That's for Clipper fans. Okay? No Laker garments will be worn in that area. Only can get tickets from that are resold on the Clippers marketplace to sit in the wall, they called it. Okay.
CFOs, Clipper fans only.
That's right.
Yeah.
And kudos to Ballmer for getting this done, because right away the NBA is going to have their All-Star game at the. That's the only time some other fans are going to be able to sit in the wall is when they have the NBA All-Star game. What is that, man? I'm scared to ask. I'm scared to ask you guys. Yeah. So, what do you think about the stadium, the Intuit Dome that's going up? Ballmer's going to get the NBA All-Star game in 2026. What are your thoughts on the Intuit Dome?
I think it's kind of crazy that he has to actually mandate that you can't wear other teams' gear or root for the other team. I mean, that just sounds very, in like they have an inferiority complex to me. Like, what are you worried about? If your team is winning and rocking, winning championships, Harden, Paul George, Kawhi, Westbrook out there just balling, hooping. I mean, why wouldn't they be rooting for you? Are you really afraid about? Are you still afraid about the purple and gold? You still afraid? It's terrible.
They have their own fans, man. Kind of like the 32-52. See, I don't know if you've been engrossed in the culture of Southern California yet. Like the MLS team, the LA.
Man, cut that out, man. You don't have their own section. You don't compare NBA franchises to MLS football clubs.
Now here, what I'm saying is in the MLS they have their own section. The 32-52. Man, they have their own section. You only go there if you're cheering on the LAFC. They sing, they drink beer all game long. They're nonstop. They got the big flags and banners.
Crowd. This is not a soccer game, homie.
No, but they're bringing that environment. Like, this is our section, their section of fans, like similar, like the rowdy
Clippers' way of saying, "Hey, don't bring your Laker stuff over here because we don't like it. It makes us feel bad."
You know what? I swear it was in the Mariners stadium that the Mariners had a mandate where they couldn't wear other teams' uniforms.
No such thing. You've never heard any professional sports franchise say that.
Boy. You know how to ruin a good time, I tell you what. I tell you what, man.
Well,
Fans,
go out there and get one, and see if the snowball effect takes place.
Fans, each and every week, man, what we do different than any other show podcast that you listen to. We're going to give you a number game as we did at the beginning of the show. We also give you this week in history segment where we talk about the things that happened in history, kind of give you a lesson, a life lesson on some of the things that happened in our past, and then we end the show with the quote. But before we get to our final segment, fans, we'll talk to you guys about this week in history. Cleveland, January 15, 1929. Civil rights leader Martin Luther King was born. Martin Luther King Jr., I should say. January 20th, 1986. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday became a national holiday. It's celebrated on the 20th. I mean, it rolled around so quick I didn't even pay much attention to it, actually. 1931, January 12, 1931, Raymond Gunn, a black man, was seized by a mob of over 2,000 white men, placed on a roof in of the local schoolhouse, and burned alive. Cleveland, as a public lynching spectacle meant to terrorize the black community in Marysville, Missouri. That's wild, bro. That's wild. I ain't never heard of that one until today. That was wild. That was really wild, bro. 1931. 1961, January 9, Charlene Hunter and Hamilton Holmes, the first black students enrolled at the University of Georgia. 2 days later, they were suspended. January 13, 1990, Lawrence Douglas Wilder, the first African American to be elected as governor of the United States, and he was elected in Virginia. 1980, he did free Allen Iverson. That was his claim to fame. January 18, 1981, Grant Fuhr is picked up in the first round of the National Hockey League draft and become the first black professional hockey player.
That's not true, but he was the first black goalie and was the first one to win a Stanley Cup.
Okay, the first to win the Stanley Cup. Thanks for clarifying. January 19, 1977, the only time recorded in history that snow fell in the Caribbean. You ever been to the Caribbean, Cleveland?
I have not had the pleasure.
The Caribbean's, Jamaica. I got to make that trip, man. I got to make that trip here now that I'm on the East Coast. 117, January 17, 1995, the Los Angeles Rams announced that they would be moving to St. Louis, Missouri. And they turned around and came right back.
Years later, yes.
Cleveland, Mike Brown got $50,000 fine for using a laptop in a press conference to show how the refs were wrong. Versus Darko, who got $25,000 for a far much worse rant that he had post games about the refs. Was it the microphone or the laptop that got him the extra double the fine, or was it the ejection in the game? What do you think got him the extra fine?
Oh yeah, no, it was certainly using the laptop as a utensil to show how egregious the calls were. Very similar to when your guy Patrick Beverly went and showed the camera to the ref.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good grab the photographer's camera to show the that was a good one. The Atlanta Hawks don't know what to do with DeJounte Murray. I mean, he's still up in the air whether he could be traded. He hit a game winner tonight. I don't know that keeps him in Atlanta, but they still don't know what to do with him. Is there a good fit for DeJounte Murray?
I mean, the Los Angeles Lakers would be an all right fit for him.
Yeah, sure.
think LeBron and AD could use him.
Sure. Are you excited to see Usher perform in the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yeah, man, I think it's his time. I mean, I like him being in the rotation. You know, it's all about heavy hitters, you know, with the show. Well, you know, last year it was the West Coast, right? It was Death Row kind of doing their thing. So, you know.
That was a couple years ago when it was
Aftermath. Who was it last year?
I don't even remember last year. Rihanna was last year.
Oh, Rihanna was last year, right? And she was pregnant. That was cute. Let's go ahead and go with Usher. Yeah, step it up.
Usher gonna make his occurrence. Is this the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide basketball squad? He pushes. Oh my goodness, do I not have it? He pushes the player. Here you go. Can you see that? Can you see that? You cannot see it. Hold on.
A little bit extra. Whoa, a little bit extra.
Here you go. You see it in the burgundy suit. You see the head coach on right here in the burgundy suit.
Okay.
Here, check out the players.
Whoa, a little bit extra. I think now Nate Oates pushing Shaw back.
That's something or nothing?
I think that's nothing.
You think that's nothing?
I think that's nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, he may be suspended for that. Yeah, you can't put your hands on another player. He tried to play it off like he's saying, "Get out of there." He tried to play it off. All right, Cleveland. One more time. Now. You watch the fight this weekend. What do you think it better be of?
He's heavy-handed. He certainly was showing his ring generalship against Smith. Got to beat him up real good. Had to have Buddy McGirt once again, come in and save one of his fighters.
So let's look at our guy. If you remember, we had Champside come on the podcast last year and he gave us his criteria for his pound for pound list that gets a lot of traction. This gets a lot of traction on Twitter. A lot of folks check this out. As you could see by his 95,000 views. I didn't know it was that, but so he gets a lot of traction. I didn't know it was 95,000 views. Champside, good shit, dog. Terrence Crawford, but so one thing I have with this, if I had him on, I'd ask him like his criteria is championships. He likes rings. Gervonta Davis doesn't have no belts right now. David Benavidez does not have any belts right now. Earl Spence Jr. has no belts right now. Shakur Stevenson has no belts, but he has Lopez, which he could be out of those lists.
Fimo, yeah.
And Bivol should certainly be in the top 7, I would think, top 6 or 7. I wouldn't put Benavidez. I wouldn't put Bivol ahead of Benavidez, or excuse me, I wouldn't put Benavidez ahead of Bivol. I think he should be up here somewhere. Tank Davis on a lot of name recognition. He is kind of the boogeyman of boxing. He's number 3 with no belts, but you can't argue with Crawford being number 1, Haney being number 2. Anyway, the Japanese dude is tough. Like, he's undisputed. He's tough. Alexander Usyk, the heavyweight, he got 3 belts. I'm just not really that impressed with Alexander Usyk. So I think he's kind of high on the board.
Looks like Shakur's actually got a belt. You just can't see it. So Errol needs to come off that list.
He better than Lopez.
Especially considering
he's
not even gonna fight this year. So he need to come off that list. No, Fimo knock you out. You don't play around with female.
Cut it up. Benavidez needs to move up. Like Benavidez, so you saw, and you don't even see Better Biev on this list. Yeah, female need to come off this list. Better Biev need to be on there. You saw the pounding what he did last week. Better Biev need to come off, be on this list. Take female off. Move Dimitri Bivol up.
No, female needs to be on the list. Errol Spence needs to come off the list.
No, that's just hate right there. So you saying Errol Spence need to come off the list?
I saw Errol Spence's last fight. Did you watch it?
He fought the number one guy in the world.
Okay, we got beat to hell.
The number one guy. Usually, Spence was in the top 3 before that fight. Usually, when you in college football, when you lose to the number one team, you don't drop but a couple slots.
I believe Fimo knocked somebody senseless his last fight.
Yeah, so you can't even think of the dude he fought. He was not on the pound for pound list.
He was a champion.
He was not on the pound for pound list.
I believe he was a champion though.
No, he was not on the pound for pound list. So the usually, I mean, there's a lot of thought, a lot of criteria that goes into this list by Champside. The only thing I would do again, Timo Fimo might not be on this list, but Better Biev need to be on the list. I'm gonna have to text my man. Why ain't Better Biev on your list, dog? He needs to be on this list. Take Teofimo off, move Bivol up. Usyk, I would say, needs to come down, but he's a heavyweight. He's a lot of draw. I would certainly add Better Biev on this list. So I'm gonna have to text my man. Shout out to Champside, breaking down your list, big dog. And there's actually, you're gonna see Ngannou fights Anthony Joshua. You ready for that one?
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua and Ngannou is gonna fight here pretty soon. What are they fighting? They're fighting. Huh?
I'm assuming they're fighting in Saudi Arabia, maybe in May or June, maybe.
Nah, not that long. Not even that long.
Oh, sooner than that?
Yeah, sooner
April?
than that.
We're already mid-January.
March 8th. March 8th. It is in Saudi Arabia, March 8th.
Okay.
Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou, March 8th. Wilder's supposed to be in the ring with the Mexican monster. I forget Cat's name. They sent him a contract. We don't know if Wilder is going to sign it though, because Wilder have to fight this dude.
Yeah, I hope he don't sign it.
Yeah, it's been like a week where it's been on the table. The Mexican monster. And it's totally up to him if he signs it or not. But they want him. They sent him in a contract, and he's still looking at it. He's still looking at the fine print, I guess. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, you get a fight March 8th. That's Saudi Arabia. The dude is, I don't know. You watched the fight over the weekend. Did you see how often they announced the prince's name?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's that's kind of part of the show.
Yeah, it was a show. Yeah, they want to be all up in the show too, like the dude all up in the videos. Yeah, they want to be all up in it too. Yeah, I know. I can't remember dude's name, but they send him a contract. So, fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This has been week 275 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is obviously January 17th, 2024. We thank you. Give yourself a round of applause for sticking with us. Keep that applause going. Thank Cleveland for joining us. I see. Well, you got the black Euphoria cap today, huh? Did you just break that one out the bag?
No, I haven't. That's for a minute.
Well, we ain't seen that one. You wearing that other stuff?
Yeah, but you won't be going to see in the Seahawks. It's been football season, so.
Fans, again, we do some things that nobody else does on the podcast. We start the show playing our numbers game. We give you our This Week Hit in History segment, and then we end it with a motivational quote to inspire you guys throughout the rest of the week. Cleveland, the quote we have today is, great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. You get that one? Or one more time. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Mr. Albert Einstein, Cleveland. What that's saying to me, fans, is continue to be who you are. People are going to hate on your dreams and your aspirations, but they're not accomplishing anything. So accomplish what you want to accomplish. Stay focused on yourself, on your drive, on your journey to achieve the goals you want to achieve. And then you could be inspire others. So once again, fans, great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Albert Einstein. That's what it says to me, Cleveland. What that say to you?
Man, take the Packers and the Texans on that 2-team parlay if you feel like it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I know you didn't. I know you didn't pick them in your spreadsheet. But fans, thank you again.
That's different.
Thank you again for joining the Voice of the Fans podcast. Appreciate you guys. I would like to, in closing, ask you to do one thing. Not only add a comment to the show, let us know what you like, what you don't like, any feedback you want to give us in the comment section, however you're watching this podcast, whether it's on H&B Media TV. We're going to give a shout out to those guys at H&B Media TV. Or you're watching us on the Voice of the Fans YouTube page. We appreciate you watching us anyhow you're watching, any way you're watching. But go ahead and leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and then hit that notification button so you can be notified each week when we drop a new podcast. Cleveland, thank you again for your time, sir. And we hope that 2-team parlay doesn't come out for you.